So, welcome to my channel. This is the first time that I am recording with this new camera setup. I'm going to be doing a chicken lasagna, if you want to call that. So I will talk through the video. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Basically I have 4 chicken breasts. I'm going to cut those in half and stuff it with ricotta, parmesan, garlic seasoning, and then I'm going to top with the marinara sauce. Put some in the pan first and then put the chicken in, and then put some more marinara on top of the chicken, and then put some mozzarella cheese, and then you're going to bake it in the oven for about 40-45 minutes. And that is basically a keto chicken lasagna, if you want to call it that. Now you can serve it with cauliflower rice if you want, or zoodles, but for now I'm just going to concentrate on the chicken and getting that done. I did get this recipe off of, I want to say 6 Sisters, but I'm not 100% sure. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I've already got my chicken. And then here's a bowl. I'm going to add some ricotta cheese. This is approximately 15 ounces, and for 1/4 cup, it's 6 fat, 3 carbs, 7 protein. Calories are about 90 for each 1/4 of a cup. So macros are actually really good on this. And I'm just going to scoop this in the bowl. And then to it, I'm going to add approximately, pardon my measuring cups here, this is all the Parmesan I have left. I'm thinking it's 1/4 of a cup. Yeah. So 1/4 of a cup of, you can use this like powdered Parmesan, or you can use fresh Parmesan, but it blends better if you use the powder. So Parmesan cheese and a tablespoon of garlic. You can use a little less garlic if you want, but I love garlic. And we're also going to use some fresh herbs here. So approximately a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, even though it does have garlic in it, it's a different flavor profile. And then we're going to use a tablespoon of Italian-like seasoning. And then I do like to use fresh herbs, but my garden is a little bare. So I'm going to use some crushed rosemary and some thyme leaves as well. You can do, you know, the boxed Italian seasoning if you want. So we're going to do about a teaspoon for that of the rosemary, and a teaspoon for the thyme. I just find that, you know, dried herbs or fresh herbs add a lot of flavor that you don't typically get from, let's say, like the cheaper spices. So usually you're going to want to add an egg to this, but I actually don't have eggs, so we're going to do the best that we can with what we got. So here we are blending the ricotta mix together. And you can also use cottage cheese or a mix of ricotta and cottage cheese as well. Now granted, note that these spices that I used didn't add any carbs or protein or anything like that. So you can go heavy-handed on the spices if you want. If you had some sun-dried tomatoes, that would be really good in this mix as well. Now I do know that the video I watched said to coat the bottom of your pan with some olive oil, which I have in this handy dandy carafe. So we're going to do that, and that's probably a tablespoon. My tomato sauce is 1/2 cup for 70 calories, 2.5 fat. It actually has 11 carbs, but you minus 2, so it ends up being approximately 9 carbs for 1/2 cup. It is a little high, but I don't have the Rayos, which is what a lot of keto people like, and I'm not necessarily keto. Oh my goodness. But I do low carb, so I try to limit 100 grams or less, and I always struggle. Hold on just a second. Oh man. And since this isn't glass, it's plastic, it's even harder to get it off. And it's not because I have oil on my hands or anything like that. I really don't have any upper body strength. Okay, there we go. So like the thing was saying, 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour this is 1/2 cup, into the bottom, and then I'm going to spread it out with the same spoon. And basically this is going to prevent like your chicken from sticking to the bottom when it's a mix. Plus, you know, if you ate bread and this was in the bottom of the pan, this would be great to dip your bread in. So the sauce is all spread out, and here comes the part with the chicken. So I'm going to set this ricotta mix aside and get my cutting board, which you can't see, but I'll show you what I'm going to do here in just a second. And don't mind this stuff on the counter. This is actually my vegetable harvest for the day. So here's your chicken breast. You can see this one is kind of small, but that's perfect because my 6-year-old would love this. And you're going to slice it. Kind of like butterfly it. See that? And then you're going to take your spoon. And don't worry, I'm not touching anything but the chicken right now. You're going to put this ricotta mix inside, right? And then you're going to close it. And you may ask about salt and pepper. I'm going to do that before I put the next layer on, okay? So we're going to get our next chicken breast, which is a little bit bigger. This one I would have to say is probably about 6 ounces, which is fine because some of the water is going to cook out when we cook it, and how it's butterflied. So I'm going to leave this one laying down, but we're going to do the same process. And remember, I'm only touching my knife, the chicken breast, and the spoon. I'm not touching anything else. And if you want to go heavy-handed on the cheese, I'm basically putting in about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons in each. If you want to pre-measure it, you can. I have my tablespoon here, but I'm just using like a teaspoon. And we're going to put that in the pan. And we're going to move on to the next chicken breast. Now, if you want to have veg with this, I do have some zucchini and green pepper here. You could basically layer that on top when you're done, but I'm not going to do that because I'm kind of vegged out this week. This chicken breast, I'm going to actually, this one's a little bit tougher to cut. It's really slimy. You could pat this dry if you wanted to, in case you're afraid of cutting yourself. My knives are pretty sharp. So here we go again with the ricotta mix. And again, that's about 2 tablespoons. Spread it out, and the beeping you hear is my oven. I got it at 400. And again, we're going to cook this for approximately 40 minutes to an hour. I'm going to check. I have a thermometer. I'm going to check it at the 40-minute mark because you want the chicken to reach temperature, but when you butterfly it like this, it should be pretty easy to get it to that temp, okay? All right, so here, this one might take more than a couple tablespoons because it's a lot bigger. And if you have leftovers, that's fine, but because I've touched raw chicken with this, I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do with it. And then there's just one little lonely piece left. It's probably not even an ounce or two, but I'm gonna use him. He looks like that, isn't he cute? There you go. So it's all in the pot. Let me wash my hands real quick and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Here. All right. So this is what it looks like in the pan. I'm going to put the salt and pepper on it since I washed my hands. And I like the coarsely ground salt and pepper. You can actually get these at Aldi, so you don't, it's not an arm and a leg. They're like a couple bucks. And they last me probably at least a month, and I'm pretty heavy-handed. So again, I'm just doing salt and pepper. You could have put that in the mixture if you wanted, but I didn't feel like it. And then I use pink Himalayan salt. You could use kosher salt or sea salt or Redmond's real salt. It has some potassium and magnesium in it. Anyway, so there's that. So we're going to take this marinara and use the same cup. This is a half a cup. And we're just going to kind of drizzle it on top of the chicken breast. And see, it's going to take probably a cup and a quarter approximately to cover the chicken. You can use more if you want, but I don't like mine too saucy. And then spread it out. Again, I'm using the same spoon that I scooped the cheese out with. So spread out the marinara on here. And you want to kind of not be able to see the chicken breast through the marinara, and that's because it's going to give it a lot of flavor. If you do that, if you have some bare spots, it may not pick up the flavor. And then we're going to use mozzarella, and this is full fat mozzarella. I don't use the part skim or anything like that. You can also use like goat cheese or whatever kind of cheese you want, but typically mozzarella and provolone go on Italian dishes. And then I still want to put some more spices on the top of this, so I'm going to take and you just cover the top. So this is roughly a cup, and the reason I know that is like 1 cup tanned is a cup. And I'm going to take the rosemary and sprinkle it on top, and then the thyme, sprinkle it on top, and that same Italian seasoning. Now I use this like Stone Mill table blend, salt free, but the ingredients in it are basically the same as Italian seasoning with a little bit more spices in there. Alright, so there's that. If you wanted to add garlic, more garlic, you could, but remember we've got it inside the chicken. And then this is going to go into the oven, again 400 for 40 minutes to an hour. You're going to check it at 40 minutes. If you have a meat thermometer, great. If not, I would just kind of err on the side of caution. And if they're butterflied like that, 40 minutes should be enough, but maybe 45 to 50, okay? So we're going to put this in the oven, and then when we're done, I will insert a picture for you. And then we are going to have some zucchini on the side. I'm just going to fry it up in a pan with some butter and some salt and pepper, and that's going to be our meal. This lasagna chicken and the roasted zucchini, which is my favorite vegetable at the moment. Thanks for watching.